AEW. Not a lot. Just enough to remind me why I don't watch it. Oh, this is already funny. Just the headline. The list of moves and actions that are now banned from AEW or need to be approved by the company.
Maybe that's why Nash is pissed off, because he went for Rock and Austin and not try to duplicate him.
Well, it'd be easier to duplicate him. You only have to learn 5 moves.
Like you said, and we've all been saying, Tony Khan, you need a hierarchy, and he gets one, and then we make fun of it.
Because he's sitting back there talking about the Brock match, and it's finally we had a wrestling match. Finally, we got 2 guys telling a story. They weren't outside in the ring the whole time. One of them
was he not watching the same match as we were?
Yeah, those games, man, I would say, like, for me, like, the best ones, I would say, are, like, the ones where they try to get a certain, like, time.
This is my entire IT team right here on screen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Wrestlechat with Mick. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nation Network, and welcome back to Wrestlechat. It's the day after the Rumble, probably the most hyped Rumble I can remember, where so much was on the line, and there was so much anticipation and build-up. This was the Super Bowl for me. I don't give a rat's ass about the game next week. I will not be watching it. I haven't watched the last 15 years worth, I think, or maybe even more. But I was really psyched up for last night. And like many people, I was not really thrilled with outcomes that took place. And we'll talk about them. In some cases, I actually was very much in favor of ones that were unpopular. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag of nuts today. All right. I put the link up there. So anyone, Judd's in the house, welcome aboard, buddy. Anyone who wants to jump on for this one, give me your thoughts and opinions, what you liked, what you didn't like. It's going to be that type of show today. Jay is busy doing stuff today, but who knows? Maybe he'll be wrapped up by the time while we're still on. He can jump in if he does. So in the meantime, if you guys want to jump on, just click on the link. Make sure you're all mic'd up and ready to go, and I can bring you on, and we'll talk about what happened. So starting right off with the Women's Royal Rumble, I thought it was an okay match. Here's what I'm going to say about both Royal Rumbles. They both failed to produce any true surprises. You have to have some surprises, good ones in the Rumble. That's what it's all about. And here's my thing, and I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep on saying it over and over and over again. Shut the fuck up. You don't have to tell us that you signed this talent or that talent. Let it be a surprise. We all know Alexa Bliss is showing up. You didn't have to say anything. It should have been under wrap and key, and we would have thought, just like we did about AJ Lee. We thought she's going to show up. She's definitely going to show up. Definitely going to. Punk even played it up a little bit. We thought, and then she didn't show up. Why can't you do that same shit with the ones that are going to show up? We all knew Jordan Grace was showing up. We all knew Alexa Bliss was showing up. These are not surprises. Trish, okay, little surprise, but it's Trish. She's not a world stopper anymore. You know, she did real good in the Rumble, but is she going to be the main event going into Mania? No, of course she's not going to win. So I'm just saying, like, if you'd have pulled Tessa Blanchard out, and I know that's a toxic one, and they're not going to touch that, but that's how you do it, though. If you're going to do it, that's how you put a complete shock and awe moment and something that people are going to be buzzing about. That would have got it done. And justifiably, look, she's had a couple of good podcasts lately, and I'm waiting for CVV to get her because I think that's the best in the business when it comes to these podcasting things right now. But I did watch her, and I can't remember the guy's name. It was a good hour long, and you know, he was smart enough to let her do all the talking, and she did. Everybody gets a second chance. That's all there is to it. And to her point, there's 2 sides to every story, and we've only heard one. That all said, Brock Lesnar could have come back. She could have come back. And, he's officially named. The only difference is instead of the mystery man that everybody knew who the mystery man was, now the mystery man has his official name. But the mystery man still did nothing illegal. He never partook in any activity with this lady. She just now named him as the guy that she was offered to by Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is the guy allegedly who has done things wrong, not Brock Lesnar. So the theory that we got to keep him away while Michael Hayes still has his job, and he was a whole lot more guilty than Brock Lesnar. And I'm not saying he's guilty of anything. I'm just saying if you were going to, look to point fingers at somebody in a direction, especially a guy who doesn't draw money anymore, Michael Hayes might be that guy. And yet he's there. But Brock Lesnar, we can't have him. Anyway, no surprises. That's my number one thing. Now, this clip, I don't think you guys can hear the audio when I play the clip audio, but we'll try it just for fun. So this guy, Danny, over here says, why does Charlotte Flair have to keep winning everything? Bro, come on. WWE Women's Division was so fine without her. Where's my clip? Well, if you can't hear it, I'm not sure if you can hear the audio because a lot of times StreamYard doesn't allow the audio to go through from the clip. But he's basically saying, same shit every day. Well, okay, it's not the same shit every day because we haven't seen Charlotte in a minute. And here's the difference between women's and the men's Royal Rumble. In the women's Royal Rumble, you have Charlotte Flair the winner, right? There are legitimate 2 solid WrestleMania main event worthy matches to be had with Charlotte Flair. The one she's had and the one she's never had. Now, I'll tell you right now, for me, I want her and Tiff. Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton, man. Talk about passing the torch. That's how you do it. That is how you do it. And Mania is the place. Or do you have the rubber match between Rhea and Charlotte? I really hope they go with Tiffany. I hope to God they go with Tiffany. Those two, with their similar athletic styles, nothing against Rhea, but Rhea can't do what they do. She's a different style of wrestler, that's all. But I'm just saying, the match that those two could put on, holy shit. That could be the one that steals the whole fucking weekend. So I have no problem with her winning. I wouldn't even be disgusted if she did go with Rhea, but I hope not. We've seen it. The fact that they each have one big win on a Mania stage to talk about, cool. 50-50. They're both legends. Let them have that. Maybe, year down the line, it's another option. But man, oh man, Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte. Ay caramba. I'm all about that one. That's what I would like to see. Let me skip around a little bit. Okay, let's talk about this part. We jump into the men's. Actually, before we jump to the men's, let's go a little bit more chronological for a moment here. Let's talk about what happened in the tag team match was next up, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, tag team match. Man, I didn't even know the Street Profits are still a thing. There's too much stuff that's been around way too long, okay? And nothing against the individuals. It's stale. It's like Sheamus. Love Sheamus as a character, as a guy, and all that. I know he's a cool dude. But my God, it's been 20 years. I mean, you got to remember, after 6 years, everybody turned on Hogan. He had to reinvent himself completely. And that bought him another 4 or 5 years, maybe even a little longer. And then he had to go back to the original gimmick again. But I'm just saying, there's only so much of it before it gets old and tired. And I don't see the Profits. I just don't see why they're even in the picture at this point in time. DIY, I feel, and I think drop the tag team titles back. That's my anticipation for the Motor City Machine Guns to get the titles back. And I guess it'll probably be, I mean, it could be sooner than Mania. It could be at either Money in the Bank, or it could even be, or the Elimination Chamber, and then maybe there's a third match at Mania. Who knows? But I do think that in the end they walk away with the belts once again, and then maybe the Hardys show up and have their little runaway final farewell matches. I thought the match overall was going well until the ending. I just thought that ending was absolute shit. Not because of the way it ended, because of who was involved in it. It could have been somebody. I'm not even thinking of who right off the top of my head because I don't have any names in my mind on who would have been better. I'll say any other would have been better. It just didn't go for me. So didn't like the tag team outcome. We go to the heavyweight championship title match, of course, and I don't like ladder matches for one reason, and one reason only. The amount of risk involved to me is not worth the reward. You're putting two of your top talents. Now, it's one thing if you have a couple of mid-carders, not to say like, oh, I don't care if he gets hurt or she gets hurt, but there's a difference from revenue standpoint if Cody Rhodes gets injured and can't wrestle at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't see. I mean, if you're going to have that match at Mania, maybe. But prior, yeah, no, that's a bad idea. Real bad idea. Just too many things can go wrong. So they're saying that Cody's injured, which I wouldn't be surprised if he's injured somewhat. How much of it could be a work? Hard to say. Kevin sold his injury like a champ, man. I'll tell you what. The way they kind of rushed the ending made me think it was legit. And if that's how you're going to, pull these things off, bravo. Because it worked, and there we go. It worked, and it made me believe that was kind of happening. Neil Hooper in the house and says it's a great night. Is tonight a great night, or was last night a great night? What are you saying? Talk to me, Goose. Once again, anyone who wants to jump on the stream, man, there's the link. Just click in. I'll bring you on, and we can chat about it. So I was happy with the outcome. I thought the match was pretty solid. Again, ladder match. Kevin took that fucking bump on that ladder that was laying down on its side. And I was like, God damn. And they're like, oh, man, he took it. Oh, no, it was me and Jay were texting back and forth is what it was. And Jay says, man, he took it flat. I don't give a shit, man. He took it right on the spine, man. And that's just, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I mean, these two guys really were fighting each other and brawling out in the backyard somewhere. Well, that shit happens. Okay. But this is essentially theater. So I don't want to see somebody, having that problem and getting injured that seriously. Last night's Rumble, dude. What did you like about it, Neil? So with the men's Rumble, there's a lot of stuff to go over and unpack in that one. Let me see if I've got or what clips I have. I've been grabbing this and grabbing that, and around you fucked. Find out you did. I like that. That's one of my new favorite memes. Okay, we'll start with this. Now, I don't know who this iSpeed dude is. I mean, I know he's a streamer of some sort. The fact that you take Tozawa out to put this guy in, no. Absolutely not. They even had Jumbotron for him and shit. It's like, no. Come on, man. I don't give a fuck how many followers he has. He's not a wrestler. He did nothing to earn that spot. Tozawa's out there doing his 365. I mean, he would have lasted just as long as this dude did. But there's no right to this. I'll say one thing. Braun got him good. Watch him grab that right arm. He couldn't brace or nothing, man. He just drove him into the mat. I almost got the feeling that they, him and Otis here kind of maybe resented the dude being in there, and they have a right to. It's like, you don't belong. This is not your place. But, man, he fucking drilled his ass hard. Again, I don't think you'll hear audio. See if you hear the audio on this impact. Off the ropes he comes at 25 miles up. That was absolutely fucking brutal, man. And then they throw him over the top. And if you haven't seen, there's a picture. I don't know if I have it here or not. Yeah, there it is backstage here. Video. Right down to the muscle, man. He tore the meat off of that sumbitch. That's why we leave it for the professionals, you dumb fuck. Penta, Cero Miedo. Cody killed Owen. So good. That speed. Knobhead getting super speared. Yep. So here's what I liked about the men's rumble, and again, I can't really say anything about the women's. There was a moment where Io and Bailey faced off, and that was building up really good, and then they fucked it up and had people interrupt it, and it never happened. They should have let that happen. They should have let that play out. However, it would have played out, because I kind of thought they were going to get back together during the rumble. That's what I was thinking, but again, you kind of missed the mark on that one. Now, we talk about what was good about the men's. You're starting out with Penta and Rey Mysterio. I mean, it's like, talk about fantasy booking the match you never thought. And we got 5 minutes of that. And we also have Penta eliminated. But no, only 1 foot touch. No, both feet clearly touched the floor. He springboarded off of 2 feet, not one, to get his ass back up off the floor. So that's one of those moments where Vince would have come running down and blown out both quads. Not a good moment right there. But it was good to see the two of them working together. I'll give that. They both did a good job. Carried 5 minutes off pretty well. I would not mind. I can see them trying to put them together with the LWO, and maybe they will. But I would much rather see an actual match between these two guys and just let it be a lucha match. You don't need a heel. You don't need a baby face. We'll get to that here in a little while. And I feel like they're starting to get the understanding that it's not necessary. Because lately you have seen a few more times where it's babyface. I would like to see a couple of heels go head to head. Of course, then all of a sudden one of them is going to become popular and go over, and then you're going to lose a heel from your roster. So could be part of the problem. Oh, if you have not seen this is funny as shit. Again, I hope you can hear the audio, but StreamYard has this thing that they do. Blow it up here. Backstage at the Rumble. I thought that was friggin' perfect. Rob Van Dam. Charlotte gets the win. Again, I'm real happy about all that. Look at all these things falling out of the sky that are supposed to be planes, but they're not. Not all of them are, anyway. Going into the Rumble, I had posted this screenshots from the 1990 Rumble that was here in Orlando, and you got Hulk Hogan after the win. I was Big Time Warrior at that time. And way down here in the corner, that's me. I got the Warrior face paint on. I'm wearing a hand airbrushed T-shirt with this really cool Warrior logo. A friend of mine was airbrushing, so he made the shirt for me, and the sign basically says Warrior Rules or something to that effect. And there's a point shortly after this moment where Hogan turns around and he sees me with all that shit on, and he does the whole, he points, and then does the whole routine, basically like stuffing it in my face. I don't care. I got vengeance a couple months later. Let's see, what else did we have to talk about when it comes to the Rumble? Drew McIntyre. All right. So again, here's where I got a problem. Let's just go over this one real quick. From WrestleOps, Drew McIntyre was said to be left fuming with the actions of one individual in the Royal Rumble last night who was accused of trying to take center stage when McIntyre's elimination was due to take place. This is what I'm getting really tired of with the WWE now in particular. And it is, hey, DHW, welcome, Betty. What I'm getting tired of is the fact that they're sharing too much. I mean, we know that the order of entry and it's predetermined, and we know that they pretty much know roughly what number they're going to go out at and who's going to do it and how it's going to be set up, and that sometimes these things in the Rumble are set up to set up the feuds going into Mania. We get all that, okay. But when you're doing it like this, where you're saying, oh, somebody had to get all his moves in last night, you're basically shitting on the product itself by saying, oh, it's all fake and he's not following the script, which we all know it's predetermined and that there's an agreed upon order of departure and how it's going to happen. But shut the fuck up about it. Now, at the same point in time, I'm sure that all the ranting and raving he did, and apparently, several people backstage saw it and reported on it, I'm sure that was for the reporting. Okay, you've got a lot of social media people there now for their press conference that takes place afterwards, and they have used the fans and social media to help run their storylines, aka Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. So they'll do things off camera after a show is off in an area where they know fans are going to have cameras of their own, and that footage will get out on the internet and then it'll blow up. But we also know that Kevin Owens didn't really jump Cody Rhodes in the back lot. It was a show. You're running a risk when you blur the line that much. And I feel like that's what this is doing. It's like we all know he's talking about CM Punk. And they're now trying to act as though CM Punk was supposed to be part of the elimination. I don't even remember his elimination, to be honest with you. When take it back, rewind. When Jacob got eliminated by Braun Breaker, I turned it off. I said, fuck this, I'm going to bed. Because he should have been a final 2 or 3. The guy is so over. And that's a problem for them because they want him to be a heel, but you can give that up. You're going to have to figure something else out because the fans have spoken. And they like this guy a lot. And to have Braun Strowman throw him out? No. And that's a match and a feud I really just have zero interest in whatsoever. Zero interest in that. Having the showdown between Jacob and Roman, there's a Mania match. The Rock and Roman, I think everybody realizes now it's done. It ain't happening. We're fine without it. We don't need it. We never really needed it. We wanted it. There's a difference, okay? Exactly. DHW agrees with me. I must be right then. Strowman did. If I said something, I might have said Braun Breaker by accident. They're both Braun, just spelled differently. Strowman did limit, and that's when I turned it off. I would have been okay with Braun Breaker doing it. You're elevating somebody who's going to be in the main event picture a year from now. But Braun Strowman is not. He's never going to be the main event of WrestleMania. Let's just be real. Great guy, I'm sure. Don't wish him any bad anything, but he's not that guy. He's not a ticket seller. He's not a merch mover. Fatu is amazing, and the fans love him. When he was putting Strowman out on Saturday night's main event, one more. I mean, they wanted him. They wanted to bury him. They wanted a buried alive match, and they didn't really care if it was alive or not. It's like, just bury him. So I do think this whole Drew thing is it's not believable. Okay, I could believe that he maybe really does not like CM Punk. I mean, Punk is a polarizing personality. So there's a possibility that he could just think, fuck this guy. He just shows up and everyone's supposed to cater to him, blah, 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 blah. Possibility. I can see him still, and he has a right, in my opinion, to be bitter that the only time they give him the world title is when there's no fucking fans around. Because we'll never know how good a champion he would have been. Maybe held that title longer, depending on what kind of reaction the fans were giving him. But there were no fans, which is a shitty thing to do. They never should have took that belt off of the guy until there was full houses and we can see what the fans are saying. Because I think, I mean, when you talk about a physical specimen, this guy's a total package. I mean, he's a monster of a guy. He moves great. He looks great. He's great on the mic. He should have been a champion for a year and a half. Easy. But not the way it was meant to be. All right. That brings us to the finale of the men's Rumble, which do I not have that clip here? Well, I have a different version of it, but not the one I thought I had. Okay. So here's a reaction of there were a lot of people happy about it, but I'll tell you, there's a whole lot of people not. Oh, all right. So these last two guys, we're going to agree to disagree greatly. Number one, he's not the most over guy in the company. He's over. No doubt about it. He's over. Not the most over guy in the company, not by a stretch. Okay. He's in the top 5. That said, you should have had him beat Gunther in a non-title match at Saturday night's main event if you were going to do this. Because we all know he's not going after Cody. He's going after Gunther, and he's already mentioned it. That's not a main event. So basically, you've taken the Royal Rumble and degraded it from John Cena against Cody Rhodes for the 17th time world champion, the past versus the present, that main event, which is still going to happen. Okay, Cena's going to probably win. My guess is Elimination Chamber. And then I see CM Punk winning Money in the Bank. And I see Cena probably beating Cody at Mania and then losing to CM Punk the next day or maybe even that night at Mania. Okay, so I think all of the necessary participants are going to have hands on the title before it's all said and done. That said, Jay is going to challenge Gunther for the make-believe championship that nobody even gives a shit about. It's not even the second championship. It's not even that good. It was better off when you had the Raw and the SmackDown championships. Then you went and unified them. Then you literally just threw this thing out there and said, okay, we're going to make a new world champion. It's garbage. It's garbage. And it doesn't matter who holds the belt or how long they hold the belt or how many great matches and they have it. The belt itself is a joke. It has no lineage. It's kind of like when they brought the big gold into the WWE the first time, not with Ric Flair, after the whole Monday Night Wars thing. And then they brought it, and they literally, Bischoff just gave it to Hunter. Named him the world champion, just handed it to him. It's like, it doesn't work that way. And at least that belt had a history tied to it. There was a lineage tied to it. But the fact is, he didn't do nothing for it and just gave it to him. That's not for the Rumble. Those two guys, they're not even going to main event night one. They may put them on as the main event of night one, but it won't be the match we're talking about. There'll be some other match on the card that we'll be talking about. My guess, if it's on night one, and it is Tiffany and Charlotte, that whatever night that's on, good luck everybody else. Good luck everybody else. And don't make the mistake of putting them first, because then you're really fucked. Everyone's going to have to try and figure out how to climb that ladder. A lot of people were happy about it, but I'll tell you, the video that WWE put out of that last moment was ratioed greatly, like 2-to-1 dislikes versus likes. So the majority of fans are not happy with that outcome. I'm in that boat. That all said, and again, let's go with my theory of what's going to happen. Let's presume it does happen. Cena wins elimination. Punk wins Money in the Bank. Cena, Punk, Cody all have their hands on the belt over the next 3 months. That's the good part. You had, and I know, I'm guilty of this. I say it all the damn time. I don't watch a lot of wrestling anymore because I already know up front who's winning. From that standpoint, and I thought about it once I woke up and watched the last 15 minutes this morning. And I thought to myself, well, we never picked that guy to win. Even the ones cheering him didn't think he was going to win. That's why they were going out of their freaking minds. There was no way he was going to win, especially when it was just down to him and John Cena, which, by the way, back to my point, you don't have to have a heel and a baby face. The fans were invested in Rey and Penta. They were invested in Cena and Uso. They were invested with Bayley and Io, and they're both generally liked wrestlers. Io's guy's over. Bayley's over. You don't need good guys, bad guys. That's so passé. Let them just wrestle and let their personalities be the thing that does it. But stop trying to force this necessity of having, a Kevin Owens being a mean son of a bitch. Kevin Owens could just be Kevin Owens and still have that great match. And if you're going to do that stupid shit, then stop doing this stupid shit where you're over here talking about, hey, he had to get his moves in. He didn't eliminate me the right way, ruined all the stories that we're building around it. And to watch a movie and you're telling us how it's being made. Shut up. Too much. Too fucking much. I don't know now. Bayley, I don't see it. Alexa and Bayley, no. I'll tell you what I see. Alexa's going to have something to do with the Wyatt Six. Could be Nikki Cross. Could be, maybe Alexa has to put a little army together of her own. Or maybe she joins forces with an existing army already to help fight off. But you got to figure that Nikki's going to be coming for revenge. So I don't see Bayley and Alexa. Bayley and Io, I could see that. That I could definitely see. Roman and Seth would be a great dude. I'll tell you right now, I'm in on that match. I am completely 100% in on that match. What Seth did there with the stomps, fucking amazing. By the way, I thought RKO would have come out. I thought we'd have had Randy come out during the Rumble. That would have been a surprise, sort of. And I guess the surprise is he didn't come out. So the fact that the anticipation was built up in my own mind and didn't happen, okay, so be it. But it's like keep you guessing stuff as opposed to Alexa Bliss that we all knew she was going to show up because they kind of told you, well, yeah, we signed her to a contract. Then they come up with a bullshit story about, oh, well, no, actually the contract talks broke down. It's like, too late. You already told us. Trust me, we all know she's going to be there. Nobody was surprised. We were just waiting for the official announcement. That's all. Anything else? Trying to think what other moments. There was some good stuff in there. Again, Jacob Fatu and Roman is another one I wouldn't mind seeing. The Seth and Roman thing, also great. Which one? Which one would I pull the trigger on? I mean, you could do both of them, but I would say for Mania specifically, because I mean, I can see you doing Seth at Elimination Chambers, hopefully in a one-on-one match. Don't put him in the chamber, and then let Jacob build up because he still has to, and I have it in my own mind of what I would do. By the way, 2K25 drops on the 7th with the pre-order, so I'll have that, and we'll do the normal midnight thing. And I've already pretty much got a determination on what I'm going to be doing with the next season. It will be probably different from every other season I've done in the sense that people's attention spans have definitely dropped. And that's across all platforms, but especially on YouTube. Any video longer than 7 minutes, nobody's watching them. They're skipping through them. And you might have an hour-long video and people watch about 7 minutes of it by skipping through. And I do it too. So, I'm as guilty as anybody else. So it just seems like a big waste of time to me to be doing an hour-long stream and then people watch 7 minutes of it. Doesn't do anybody any good. So I've got some other ideas of things I want to kind of get back doing that I started out doing in the very beginning. But I say all that because we'll be booking WrestleMania, this upcoming WrestleMania. I think hopefully they don't beat me to it and already start running some of the stuff that I think they're going to run. Or at least stuff that I would be doing if I were in that position. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. So overall, did I like the event? I did. Most of it. The only thing I had a massive, massive problem with, not even, Jay, I was real unhappy with Jay winning over John Cena. And I've never been a massive John Cena fan, but I am right now, okay? I think he's earned the right to go up to 17. I don't know if they're even going to let that happen. I have a funny feeling John won't take a 17th world title. I think he's going to build up for it, but he won't take it. I think he just respects Flair too much. And I understand that. I get it. But I think, let's put it this way. If anybody was going to, he had a great, if you haven't seen his post-Rumble press conference thing, it was one of the best promos he's ever cut. He says, I want to be out there. I want to be the man to take the 17th time world championship. This way I can be there to shake the hand of the man who does it 18. Well, that ain't going to happen in this generation, man. Those days are probably over. I can't even imagine. Thank you, DHW. I can't even imagine somebody being able to pull that off at this point in time. Go for it, buddy. 2K25's coming soon, man. Which version are you going to get? And they're going to be dropping some video gameplay footage on Wednesday. So we'll get to actually get a look at this. I'm hearing more and more stuff every day, as I'm sure most of you are as well. One of them being that there's now a third-person camera cut that takes place. And I'm not entirely sure if that's during matches or if it's on the island. But basically, like if you were playing Last of Us or any of these other open world type player games where you're the third person camera and then you control the camera with the right stick, right? Yeah, the right stick. That has some potential depending how it works. I started messing with that free roam camera this year only in the last couple of months, and the more I mess with it, the more I like it. Okay, so I definitely see a lot of potential with that so far as getting good content, good video, just bringing the fans into the action a little bit more. Almost makes you wonder when they're going to do it with the real product, getting in that close and that tight. Could happen. Why not? Oh, mercy sakes alive. All right. Well, that is going to be a wrap for this one. I want to thank you guys once again. Appreciate you all being here. We'll be back again with some more Wrestle Chat in the not too distant future. In the meantime, everybody, stay safe, and I'll see you right back here on the Nation Network. I actually watched a little bit of AEW, not a lot. Just enough to remind me why I don't watch it. Oh, this is already funny. Just the headline. The list of moves and actions that are now banned from AEW or need to be approved by the company.
Maybe that's why Nash is pissed off, because he went for Rock and Austin and not try to duplicate him.
Well, it'd be easier to duplicate him. You only have to learn 5 moves.
Like you said, and we've all been saying, Tony Khan, you need a hierarchy, and he gets one, and then we make fun of it.
Because he's sitting back there talking about the Brock match, and it's finally we had a wrestling match. Finally, we got 2 guys telling a story. They weren't outside in the ring the whole time. One of them
was he not watching the same match as we were?
Yeah, those games, man. I would say, like, for me, like the best ones, I would say are like the ones where they try to get a certain like time.
This is my entire IT team right here on screen, everybody.